But first, by way of introduction, I should pass on a small bit of news this week, only absolutely scary, but almost no one picked it up. A small bit of news that you might have missed. China's dictator, Xi Jinping, the man who's been building up his army extremely fast and threatening many of his neighbours and even threatening the invasion of Taiwan, visited a military base in Guangdong this week, and he told his troops there to put all your minds and energy on preparing for war. In fact, several months ago, he told senior army generals the same thing, prepare for war. How often does he have to say it before people think, maybe he means it? Didn't we have that same problem when people didn't think that Hitler really meant it in 37 and 38 and early 39? Anyway, just so that we know from the start what kind of regime I'm about to talk to you about. And there's another thing I want you to know right from the start. I'm not a Christian. I'm not pushing my own barrow here. But I do care very much when the Catholic Church sells out to a dictatorship like China. I care very much. And not just because that sellout makes a dangerous regime even more dangerous, but because, whether you're Catholic or not, the fact is that the Church, the Catholic Church, has been one of the most reliable enemies of dictatorships everywhere. It was against Hitler, it was against the communists, and now it's selling out to China. Look, all Christians, true Christians, believe humans should be free. So what a disgrace to see the Church now renew its secret deal with China that effectively lets China, not the Vatican, appoint bishops in China. Bishops that must swear loyalty to Xi Jinping, and probably not to the Pope. What a sellout. And there was this week an amazing explosion in the Church. And dare I say, thank God. The Pope has just published his Green Left and pro-Islam manifesto, Fratelli Tutti, which translates to all brothers, and which urges people to acknowledge, appreciate and love each person. But it was not all brothers at all in the Church this week, no love and appreciation, because the Emeritus Bishop of Hong Kong, Cardinal Joseph Zen, launched the most brutal attack on the Vatican's number 2 official, Secretary of State Cardinal Parolin, who has been handling and defending this deal with China. Zen, who knows China extremely well, having been the Cardinal in Hong Kong for quite some time, said Parolin knows he himself is lying about this deal. He knows that I know he's a liar. He knows that I will tell everyone that he is a liar. Now, for a cardinal to attack the most senior cardinal of all in the Catholic Church like that is extraordinary. I can't remember the last time I've heard any comparable thing. But Zen says this deal is extraordinary too, and Parolin is a liar to say that former Pope Benedict supports it. And he says Parolin lacks faith. That's what he said. Cardinal Parolin lacks faith, Christian faith, to make such a dirty deal with this dictatorship. It's a sellout, he says. He says, people say that the agreement is good. The Chinese communists have finally recognised the Pope as the supreme authority of the Catholic Church. But if I don't see the text, I don't believe it. And I don't either. I don't either. This deal was supposed to get China to recognise the Pope's authority after many years of no talking. And from the Pope's point of view, to get the communists to stop appointing their own bishops. But Zen says the exact opposite is now happening, despite this deal, which has been there for a couple of years. The Pope has, in the space of this deal, recognised 7 bishops that are actually appointed by the dictatorship, being men loyal to the dictatorship. But no one can see whether it's approved any of the Pope's own bishops. In fact, Zen says the exact opposite seems to be happening. The communist bishops are cheering cheering this deal. One, Wang Bingzhang, who's now been made by the Pope the legitimated Bishop of Shantou. The communists appointed him first, and he was excommunicated. Now he's the legitimated Bishop of Shantou. But the former bishop, Zhuang Zhangjiang, who had been arrested by the communists, persecuted by the communists, still leads the underground church there, he'd been forced to step aside to make way for the communist regime's bishop. And he's been banned by the police from being at the ceremony to appoint his successor. Zen says, and he is so right, the underground church that's loyal to Rome has been betrayed by this Pope and this Parolin. Interesting, by the way, that the Pope demoted Parolin just this week. I wonder whether this is having some effect, these broadsides, or whether it's tied with the corruption scandal that happened in the Secretary of State department that Parolin oversees. We shall see. But not only the underground church loyal to Rome has been betrayed, according to Zen, so have all the Christians who have been so oppressed by this dictatorship, not just now, with churches being closed down and priests persecuted, but during Mao's Cultural Revolution as well. Persecuted when they kept their faith and they kept their independence from the communists, even though their churches were being shut down, their holy relics were being destroyed, even though half the Christians in China were arrested, and says Zen, priests were tortured and priests were killed. And now, this betrayal? I am just so shocked. So, by the way, is the Secretary of State of the Trump administration. That guy, Mike Pompeo, flew to Rome a couple of weeks ago and begged the Pope. The Pope wouldn't see him, but he gave a speech. Begged the Pope, do not betray the church and renew this deal. Now, Zen has spoken out before about this deal, of course.
A bad deal is worse than no deal. So better no deal than a bad deal. Now they are powerful. Now they are arrogant. They are not going to give anything. So they want a surrender. Now, how can we surrender?
Zen said that a couple of weeks ago when he was in Rome. He'd flown to Rome hoping for a meeting with the Pope. The Pope refused to see him. But now with this deal, and these Vatican lies to sell this deal, and now with underground churches in China, Catholic churches, and Protestant too, but Catholic churches closed down for refusing to swear loyalty to the communists. Even on Christmas Day, crucifix being taken down from one church. Zen has had enough. Freedom must be defended. I'm not a Christian. Many of you may not be a Christian, or certainly not Catholic. But I tell you, learn from your history. Look around at how few defenders freedom now has. When even the Catholic Church stops defending freedom in a country like China, where it is so under attack, when even the Pope, have you noticed, refuses now to attack China. When was the last time he said a word against China? Tutti fratelli attacks capitalism. Do you hear the Pope attacking communist China? That's this deal. When even the Catholic Church stops defending freedom, which of any of us are safe?